it's Tanis at H&H Sun Supply. I'm very excited because I have a guest here today, and you'll probably be seeing a lot of her. And so I want to introduce you to her. Her name is Danny. And Danny, could you tell us how you got, like, what you like to do for whenever you're crafting? What kind of projects do you like to do?
Well, I do a lot of shirts. I have a little boutique on the side that I like to do stuff for. And I do stuff for the house, like home decorations and just little crafts for the kids.
Cool, yeah. And so, Danny, could you tell us a couple little fun facts about yourself?
Well, I'm married and I have 3 kids. And I'm going to Disney World this year, and I'm really excited.
And we're excited about that too, because we love Disney. But Danny, could you tell everyone what your role at H&H Sun Supply is?
So I'm going to be doing a lot of the marketing and the social media. And when I say social media, people look at me like, oh, you're going to be on Facebook all day. But it's so much more than that, especially when I get to edit these lovely videos.
Yeah. So Danny's going to be working with me hand in hand. My goal is to start giving more videos to our customers, more how-to videos, and just be a little more engaged, make it a little more personal. We have some really good ideas for future videos and future posts. So you will probably be seeing a lot of Danny. And so cut to the chase here. The video or the project that we're doing today is it's going to be a little Valentine project. We're going to use Oracal 641 and the MT80P transfer tape. And so let's get started with that project. So today we're working in Silhouette Studio. This is just plain Studio. It's not the designer edition. I purchased my image from the Silhouette store. And today what we're going to be doing is the Love Grows Stronger tree. I'm just going to double click this. It's already downloaded into my library. So we are going to be working on a 11 by 14 piece of wood today. I purchased this piece of pre-painted wood from a hobby store. So we pull it up. We've got the cutting mat behind here. This workspace, the white is not to the right size. So I want to get everything sized correctly so whenever I'm designing it looks more realistic. So first off, I'm going to go over here to the size. And I want to make my workspace 11 inches wide and 14 inches tall. 14 inches tall. Now I do not plan to cut with the cutting mat. I'm just going to cut my vinyl with just on the Silhouette without a cutting mat. So I'm going to say none. And that's going to cut or take the mat away. I'm going to go ahead and say show cut border. I'm going to take that off. It takes the lines away. Now, so right now, whenever I click this, it's all one image. We want to break this image apart so that we can cut it all in separate pieces. So we have the image here. I'm going to go up to Object, and we're going to ungroup. Now, when we ungroup that, my hearts are separate, my tree is separate. Whoop, there's the heart to the tree. I'm gonna go back. We want to move those separate, and then these letters are separate. I'm gonna go ahead and start putting color on here because I like to design in color so I can see what it's gonna look like as a finished project. So I see that the heart and the tree are 2 separate objects on top of each other. I want to break those apart, or actually marry those together really. So I'm going to go up here to Object, and I'm going to make it a path. So Object, make compound path, and that cuts the heart out and makes it one piece now. So for my letters down here, I'm going to make those a color. So now I have all of these hearts over here, and instead of doing all pink hearts or red hearts, I want to make those all different colors. They're all one piece right now. We want to break those apart so that we can change the colors of those. So I'm going to select the hearts, and I'm going to go to Object again, and I'm going to ungroup. So now I can pick whatever heart I want, and I can make it whatever color that I want to make it. So just to speed things up a little bit, I'm going to select these hearts, and I'm going to click Shift as I'm doing that. So select a heart and Shift, select my next heart, and it does them all together. And I'm going to make those this dark pink here. So then I'm going to go and select the other hearts, select the first one, and then you're going to select shift, hold shift down as you're clicking the other hearts, and I'm going to make those a light pink. So I have dark pink and light pink hearts, and I'm going to do my lettering in red. I want to make I ungrouped these hearts, so now I want to group those back so that I can move them easily and not have to grab each heart as I'm moving. So I'm going to group those back together, pull those off my workspace here. I'm going to pull my letters off as well. So my board is 11 by 14, and I need to decide how big I want everything. But I've pulled everything off, and so now I've got the tree on. I want to size this, so I need to put these all on the page and group them all together. So now that I'm putting my hearts on here, I actually want to bring those to the front. So if I just right click out on one of those hearts, it's going to bring up all these options. At the bottom, you want to select bring to front. That's going to bring those hearts to the front of the tree, and because that's where we want that. So we're going to bring the tree up here kind of in the middle. I'm going to put these hearts. Actually, I think that looks pretty good. And we want to bring the words here. Now we want to make sure that the tree and this saying here is lined up. So I'm going to select the tree and the words, and I'm going to go over here to transform, and we're going to line it horizontal. And whenever I do that, it brings that tree to the center of these words. When I did that, of course, I have to move my hearts again. So I'm going to pick those up, move those to where I want them. And there you are. Now, in order to size this, I need to select the whole image. Now, I can select everything on the page, and I can move it this way, but I like to get an exact measurement, so I'm not going to do it that way. So everything's selected. I'm going to go over here still in transform with the diagonal line there, and this is where I would change the sizing of all of this together. But since it's all three separate pieces, I can't change it here. I have to group all of this together. So I'm going to grab it all again. I'm going to go to object, and I'm going to group. Now that it's all grouped together, I can come here and I can change it. And when I do this, I want to make sure that I click this padlock here. That way when I change one dimension, it's going to change the other one proportional. That way it doesn't get stretched out. So I want the height to be 10 inches, and it makes the width 6.6. I want to apply that. So we've got it designed here. We are ready to cut pretty much, but first what we want to do is we want to ungroup everything first, because we don't want to cut all of this all out at once. We want to cut the red, and then the brown, and then the dark pink, and the light pink. So now I'm going to ungroup. That ungroups everything. I have 3 separate images now. I'm going to pull these off the screen, and I am going to cut without the mat. I'm going to put my tree up here kind of in the corner, and I'm going to show you how to cut. So we're ready to start cutting these images. First thing is I'm going to just go up here to send. I do have matte vinyl in there, and I'm just going to allow it to do the auto blade, because generally whenever I do the settings through Silhouette, it's pretty spot on, especially with this Oracal 641 vinyl. So I've got my tree. I kind of want it on the top edge so that I can use the rest of the page for a different project. And so now I need to load the vinyl. So we want to load our vinyl. Now these pinch rollers here, there's a spot here and here, actually here or here. I like to put mine towards this middle, especially if my vinyl is exactly 12 inches. That way it doesn't move and go off the page. So just like loading a cutting mat, you want to load your edge up with this blue line here. So I've got it in. Okay, so now it's loaded and I can tell it to send. Go. So I have the vinyl loaded and I'm just ready to send that on to the silhouette. Did get the tree cut out, so now it's time to cut the next color. I'm going to come back off of the design, get back into the design. I'm going to pull this tree off and we're going to cut the letters. Put those again in the top corner, and I need to load the red. So we want to go back to the design space here, and now we're ready to cut these hearts, but we are cutting 2 colors. So I'm going to go ahead and put these hearts on the screen, but we want to ungroup them because they are grouped right now. So we're going to go to Object, Ungroup, and we want to only grab the dark hearts. So if you click one, you can then click Shift or hold Shift down and click the rest of them. Now they're separate. So we'll go ahead and pull these off the screen. I like to group those so that we don't have to go click in each one or trying to grab all of them. I'm going to group these, and I'm going to go ahead and cut the light pink. We're going to cut the last bit of the design. We're going to go back to the design space. We're going to pull these light pink hearts off, and we're going to put the dark pink hearts on. So now we are ready to weed all of these images. I'm going to weed the tree out first. I'm going to cut around the tree. This way I still have some brown that I can use for a future project. I'm going to take my tweezers. I like to use fine point tweezers. Some people like to use like an awl, but I'm just used to tweezers. I'm just going to start at a corner here, pick up the edge, and peel it back. Depending on your cut settings, sometimes you can peel these really fast. Sometimes, depending on the intricacy of your image, you have to do it kind of slow. Make sure that I pull this little heart out here. There we go. So now we need to put transfer tape on all of the separate images. The tape that I'm going to use today is Oracal's MT80P. It actually is one of my very favorite tapes. It has a paper backing, it does have a grid, and it's extra clear. So most of the clear tape that you might have used, it's clear, you can see through it, but it's kind of rigid. It's not as soft. And so this tape, what I like about it is it's very soft. So I'm just going to roll it out here. One good thing is it does have that grid on it. So I like to tape this down because it is sticking up there and it's going to be really hard to get that transfer tape on. So I'm going to tape the edges down. I'm just using a plain paper transfer tape. We do sell that on our website. We have it in 1 inch and 2 inch. I'll include a link to that on our site so you can snag a roll. Although I may not use it to put letters on or graphics on, I use it a lot to tape things down. So I'm going to peel the backing off of the transfer tape. What I like to do is, I just peeled a small bit of it. I like to kind of line it up here and then squeegee it up. I'm just going to cut around the edges. So now we have to put the different colors and pieces together. And so this is kind of the tricky part. I like to first put it on my surface and look at it, but then I also like to measure just because I like to make sure that it's straight as possible. So I'm going to start with the tree and I'm going to make sure that it's as close to the center as I can get it. So I think we're good on the centering part. Now, for the top, I don't think it's as important on this one that they're exactly the same on the top as it is the top and the bottom, but we do want to make sure that there's not a huge gap. So we wouldn't want like 3 inches up here and only 1 inch down here. But I'm also going to measure on the sides of these letters here to make sure that it's pretty accurate, and I think we're pretty good here. So we've got them both about where we want. I'm going to use my small transfer tape again. And I'm just going to tape right here in the center of this tree. And I'm going to do the same for my letters, but I'm going to do it the opposite way here. So now we have these taped down and we're ready to stick those. So got those taped down. My scissors. I'm gonna peel back the tree. It's not that good. Peel back the tree. And cut the backing. I'm gonna squeegee it down. Lots of pressure. Peel the tape off. And peel the rest of the backing off. Squeegee that down. Same thing with this one. I'm gonna squeegee that good. Make sure it picks up those letters. I need more tape. So this is our finished project. I think it's very cute. It would be good for some home decor in maybe a master bedroom, but also it would probably be good in like a nursery. So again, today we used Oracal 641 and we use MT80P transfer tape. I will include the links to those items for shopping on our website. Thank you for watching, and I look forward to future projects.